The Beloved Community Cohort involves 8 to 10 organizations coming together and working through a year-long body of curriculum around diversity, equity, and inclusion.
We not only had nonprofits, but we also had philanthropy in the room. We had 10 organizations total, arts-based organizations. We had those that work in education. We work with other nonprofits, so legacy institutions, Arts Memphis that had been around for a long time, as well as Momentum. We were about 2 years old then, and a couple of other new institutions.
Over the course of our 8 months in the cohort, we met with the other nonprofit groups to do a lot of our own individual head and heart work in terms of examining our own practices and our own ideas, biases, thoughts.
The cohort was awesome because when we met for those sessions over the course of those months, we weren't only ever just working within our group at the Orpheum, we were able to cross-pollinate with other organizations. Whenever there were breakout sessions and a question was presented, we would sit around the table with the other people in the cohort, the other organizations, and put everything on the table and be honest and true in that space.
This year, because of COVID, lots of those participants started having conversations saying, how can we be in partnership with better supporting our community in this moment of crisis? We saw that start to bubble up as foundations started to come up with some emergency relief funds, and those other organizations were in concert with them, advising and guiding their decision making, helping get information out to community members and organizations in order to allow that to come to fruition much faster.
For us, we actually have a guiding principle in our organization that's equity and justice in every action. And to be honest, we weren't doing that every single time we make a decision around a policy or a practice. So for us, whenever we're making decisions, hosting a conference, inviting people to speak, it's really important for us to make sure that we're asking who's going to be impacted by this, who might be disadvantaged by this, and asking the right questions before we even bring anyone to bear or bring a class to bear for our participants.
We've been working on a process for redacting bias from resumes that come into our organization so that we can remove bias from the hiring practice as much as possible. And it's been really wonderful because we've been able to collaborate across departments, across committees to sort of put that together, all with this goal of these practices and protocols becoming ingrained in our culture.
The journey had already started before we did Beloved. This was just kind of a torch that we picked up that we can now refer to and guide us through the process with some metrics, because not everybody just feels it inside of them to want to do this work. They want to see some proof in the pudding. And now we've been able to black and white document some of the things that we plan on doing.
The entire team and staff at Beloved did such an incredible job of really building relationships with all of us in the cohort. They still act as resources from time to time. When a question pops up, we feel like we can reach out to them and really stay in touch. So it's an ongoing relationship. And I think that Beloved Community really models in their practice what they're hoping will sort of radiate out through this work.
Knowing that we're not going back to what it used to be, not that it was terrible, it was working, but our morals are different now. And so now we just work a little differently in every ounce and speck of the organization.